There is a name you've heard at funerals, whispered into the ears of the dying, carved into the stones of civilizations that no longer exist: Azrael. And everything you have ever been told about what he does is wrong. He doesn't come to take your soul. He comes to extract it. Because here is the truth that 10,000 years of mythology has been circling without daring to say aloud. Your soul was never yours. It is a divine organism, a particle of something ancient and alien lodged inside your flesh since the day you were born. Death is not the end of your story. It is the moment you discover you were only ever the packaging. And Azrael is the courier who was always coming to collect. Chapter 1. The Tenant. Forget the hooded skeleton. Forget the scythe. That's a fairy tale. Something we tell ourselves to give the end a shape we can recognize, a face we can negotiate with. The reality is a biological horror beyond comprehension. The terror you feel in your final moments isn't fear of an outside force coming to claim you. It's the dawning, sickening realization that your own body has been a vessel, a host for something else entirely. In the deepest, most ancient lore, the angel of death is not a reaper of souls. He is an extractor, an agent of cosmic law. He is not coming for you. He is coming to reclaim property that has been living inside your flesh since the day you were born. Your soul was never your own. It is a foreign organism, a divine passenger, and death is not your end. It is a violent, agonizing eviction. Chapter 2. The Borrowed Flesh. To understand the horror, you must first understand that you were never in control, not once, not for a single moment. Think of your consciousness, your memories, your fears, your love, your entire identity as the Nafs, the self, the ego. It is you. But the spark that animates your flesh, the invisible force that makes your heart pump and your lungs draw air, is something altogether different. It is the Ruh, an untouchable, unknowable fragment of divine energy, breathed into your shell of a body at the moment of your creation. It is what gives you life. But it is not you. It is a lodger, a silent passenger, and it has an owner that is not you. Your entire life has been the struggle of these two forces, fused together. The Nafs, the ego, the self, clinging to the walls of its fleshy home, believing it is the master of this house, and the Ruh, the alien spark, silently waiting for its summons. Your journey was not simply to live, it was to serve as a container, a walking, breathing vessel for this precious, otherworldly essence. But something went wrong. You grew attached. You began to believe that the cage and the creature inside were one and the same. You mistook the passenger for the driver, and that is a fatal mistake, because the journey always had a fixed duration. The passenger was always meant to go home. Chapter 3. The Unraveling. Imagine the moment it begins. A strange vibration deep in the sternum. A flicker behind the eyes. Your own hands feel foreign. The texture of your skin suddenly alien beneath your fingers. This is not sickness. This is something older. Something that was written into your body before you were born. The Ruh, the entity within, has received its summons. The agreement is over. The lease has expired. It begins to unspool itself from your nervous system, to withdraw its presence from your heart, muscle by muscle, nerve by nerve. You feel it. A growing coldness at your core. An inner phantom pulling slowly, deliberately away from the shell it has inhabited for a lifetime. The horror is not that you are dying. The horror is that your body is expelling something, and that something feels more like your soul than your own thoughts do. You are being hollowed out from the inside, and the courier has already left to find you. Chapter 4. The Extractor. This is when you see him, Azrael. He is not an angel of light. He is not a specter of darkness. He is a biological impossibility, an entity of pure function. The ancient texts describe a being of incomprehensible scale, a presence so vast, so utterly other, that the human mind cannot hold its shape without fracturing at the edges. He is not here to harm you. He is here to perform a procedure, a separation. His presence fills the space around your dying body like a frequency your flesh can feel but your eyes cannot follow. He is the universe's most brutal truth, made manifest. Nothing that walks this earth was ever meant to stay. What happens next depends entirely on how tightly you have fused with the thing inside you. For the one who understood, who lived without grasping, who recognized the Ru for what it was, the moment is terrifying, but clean. Azrael speaks, not to you, but to the entity within. "O luminous soul, come forth." And the Ru slides from your flesh like a whisper of steam. A clean extraction. Quiet, transactional. The horror lies not in violence, but in the cold efficiency of it, as though you were always just the packaging. But for the one who fought, who built an identity from the weight of the physical world and refused to let go, the procedure becomes something else entirely. The presences that accompany Azrael do not look on gently, and when his command comes, it carries the full gravity of cosmic law behind it. The Ra, tangled in ego and desire, interlocked with the weight of everything you refuse to release. It will not come willingly. The ancient texts reach for an image that has survived millennia precisely because nothing else comes close. Something being pulled through you, against your own nature, every nerve protesting, every part of your being resisting what is no longer yours to resist. Not punishment, friction, the consequence of a passenger that is fused too deeply with its vessel. The separation that should have been quiet must now simply be completed, and it is. Chapter 5. The Severance. The moment of separation is not a fade to black. It is not a gentle closing of the eyes. It is a rupture. The word used in the ancient scripture is tawafa, to be taken in full. Every thread that binds you to the physical world is severed at once. You, the Nafs, the consciousness, the thing that called itself I for an entire lifetime, are expelled from your body. You watch from outside your own flesh as the Ru, the shimmering, alien presence that shared your body all along, is gathered and taken upward. If you resisted, if you fought the separation to the very last, your untethered consciousness finds no welcome beyond the physical. It falls, back into the darkness of the body it has just been torn from, back into the earth, and there it waits, in absolute silence for what comes next. Chapter 6. The Interrogation in the Dark. You are in your body, but not alive. The world outside no longer exists for you. You exist now in the Barzakh, an intermediary state between death and whatever follows it. A silence so complete it has weight. A darkness that presses in from every direction at once. And then they arrive. Two presences, Munkar and Dakir, whose nature is not comfort, but clarity. They do not ask their questions in words. Their interrogation is a force, a psychic pressure that strips back every illusion you ever constructed about yourself, every identity you ever tried to wear. 3 questions, simple, devastating. For the soul that understood its own nature, that lived without the desperate need to possess, the answers arise without hesitation, as though coded into its very architecture. The darkness softens, a waiting that is almost peaceful. But for the soul that was lost, that spent its entire existence mistaking the vessel for the voyage, there are no answers. Only the terrifying realization that without the body it clung to, It does not know what it is. The darkness does not soften. It closes in. What follows is not punishment handed down from outside. It is consequence arising from within, a deeply personal unmaking, an appointment that was set in motion with the very first breath this soul ever drew in this life. Chapter 7. The Great Illusion. The fear of Azrael was never about a monster coming to steal what is yours. It was the biological horror of realizing that your soul, your life, your very body were never yours to begin with. They are a trust, a temporary arrangement, and you are merely the container. To fear the angel of death is not to fear him. It is to fear the collector, not because he is monstrous, but because you have spent a lifetime treating borrowed things as your own. The anxiety is not about him. It comes from your own desperate, futile attachment to things that were always going to be reclaimed. The moment Azrael arrives is not an ending. It is an awakening from the dream you have called life. It is the moment you see the truth. The Ruh, the divine passenger, is harvested and returned to its source, rejoining a cosmic ocean of being. It is going home, but you, the Nafs, your personality, your memories, your love, your terror, you are not the soul. You are the shell, the husk, the residue. Azrael did not come for you. He came for what was living inside you, and for the consciousness that is ready, his arrival is a graduation. But for the one that is not, his arrival is the most terrifying truth of all. You were just the cage, and the bird is now free. The cage is now empty. And empty things are thrown away. Does the idea that your consciousness is simply the vessel for something ancient and alien change the way you think about your own existence? Share your reaction in the comments below. And if this exploration into the darker truths of mythology reached somewhere in you that you didn't expect, follow the darkness deeper.